परफॉर्मेंस की, डेटा की, जीएसटी की, तो बात आती है गवर्नेंस की, ठीक है। क्योंकि डेटा निकला है और डेटा में जो है वो कहीं ना कहीं ये दर्शा रहा है कि करंट गवर्नमेंट जो है उसका परफॉर्मेंस कैसा रहा है। तो अगर हम गवर्नमेंट के परफॉर्मेंस की या गवर्नेंस की बात करें तो उसके बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे? व्हाट इज द परफॉर्मेंस? हाउ वुड यू जज द परफॉर्मेंस?
I agree. So the overall report, of which the star data was this, the most talked about data of Oxfam was that GST is paid by poor. But the overall report was about survival of the richest. It was about inequality. And star data का ये हालत है तो of course जो बाकी के डेटा से उन्होंने काम किया होगा, God knows क्या काम किया होगा and stuff like that. So very difficult to depend on them. But denying that inequality exists is also not correct, right? And therefore there are the way we should tackle it is both two. Does inequality exist? And what can be done about it, where the role of the governments also come in.
Okay.
Right? So does inequality exist, or why does the inequality exist in itself? The thing is that any skill-based, competitive or semi-competitive or even partially competitive societal setup or any setup would automatically have winners and not so winners. So it's wrong to say them as the losers, but winners of the game and those who are not able to win the game, right? Which automatically creates a hierarchy, and which will automatically lead to forming of a so-called inequality, right? So inequality, the way it is portrayed today, is not very different from a kind of a hierarchy of people, So, and no societal setup, whether it's government, whether it's institutions, whether it's anything, can survive without a hierarchy. So even hierarchy is seen even in the animal kingdom. So you would have alpha male, this, that, whole group, ka pack, ka ek leader hoga. The moment there is a phenomena of a leader or someone, you automatically are talking about hierarchy. The moment there is leader and followers, you can argue that this is unequal. Why should he be the leader? Why should everybody be the follower and stuff like that? So any societal setup would have a hierarchy. Any skill-based setup would have a inequality built into it, emerging as a hierarchy out of it, right? So inequality is the nature of life itself. You cannot have everybody equal in all forms, right? If you make everybody equal in all forms, then there is a collapse of the system itself. You can argue that Maya itself, if you take a bit of a detour into more deeper philosophy, Eastern philosophy, Maya itself represents inequality.
Okay.
Right? Because Brahma is all equal. The one who is beyond, that is one great, who is there everywhere, is all equal. Maya is the veil which makes things not equal. So I am a man, she is a woman, this is all the differences that arise is because of Maya itself. So, and Maya is what world is, right? So hierarchy and equality are the features of the world. These are not errors of the world, these are features of the world. That is how it functions, right? So why would I aspire to, go become the CEO? Because CEO is at the top, and CEO is different from a manager. He is unequal, he is a higher equal in the organization. So inequality is a feature, right? Why as a company I would want to compete and get the best product out to you? Because there is another company which is ruling the market. It's an unequal setup. I want to compete, put my best in to get beyond that and stuff like that. And then I will be the big guy out there.
Yes.
So I'll be the bigger one. I'll be the really more unequal one, right? So inequality is a feature of the world itself, of society itself per se, right? The cost of inequality should not be such that you cannot get a minimum basic life. That is the thing, right?
Okay.
So inequality exists, that's the nature, but the fallout of inequality should not be so severe that you die only, or you're not able to eat only, or you're not able to function only. That should not be the extent of inequality, right? And that's how it needs to be tackled, right?
Okay.
So, and that's where government comes in. Left to itself, society will produce inequality. Right? Left to itself, more skilled people would go up, would climb up, and it should happen such. Left to themselves, those who put in more hard work will go up.
Yes.
Those who don't put in hard work will come down. And that's how it should be. That's how a healthy society will function, right? So then how do we reduce the impact of this inequality so that even those who are left behind are not in a position that they are completely dissipated or completely in such a bad position that they can't lead their day-to-day life. That's where government comes into the picture. A beneficial government, a benevolent government should come into the picture, right? Their duty is what? That the inequality produced is addressed to the extent that the survival is not difficult. And that the opportunity to work is available for, or opportunity to climb up is available to you if you want, if you have that kind of a skill set and if you want to put in that effort. Okay. There are two aspects that governments come. The more basic aspect, of course, is that the government should take care that the inequality fallout is not such that it should lead to a scenario where you don't survive. Okay. Right? And this is where I feel that the right form of governance is what I call as capitalistic socialism. Right? So what is this capitalistic socialism? We all know what is capitalism, what is socialism. Right? Capitalism is typically US, whosoever competes, goes up, he gets everything. The competition is the key. Private parties, they all compete on their own capitalistic nature. Socialism is that there is a benevolent government which distributes the whatever wealth there is to everybody and stuff like that, right? The thing is, capitalism is very, very good in wealth generation. It produces wealth like anything because it promotes competition, it promotes people who are skilled, it promotes people who are hardworking, it will give them all the resources that is required, they will accrue and they will climb up and they will produce very, very good things, right? So they will produce great things like iPad or iPhone and SpaceX and whatnot. This is what capitalism does. It's very good in wealth generation, but it's extremely poor in wealth distribution. So what happens? The winner takes it all kind of a scenario prevails out there, right? On the other hand, socialism by nature is about wealth distribution. So very good in wealth distribution. That is why it exists, but extremely poor in wealth generation per se, because the focus is entirely on distribution itself. Focus is take the resource, give it to everybody, irrespective of what they are, how skilled they are and not skilled they are. So this discourages the people who are skilled. This discourages hard work because everybody is going to get the same. So why should I work more? Right? So if I announce in my class that whatever everybody should give exam, and I will take the paper, but I will give everybody the average marks. So there is a direct disincentive not to study, right? मैं फिर क्यों पढ़ूं जब सभी को एक ही मार्क मिलने वाला है तो कोई नहीं पढ़ेगा, But if मैं बोलता हूँ topper, there is a position called as a topper which will earn you this things and which will earn you special attention from me and this and that, which will earn you badge of honor and this and that, and people will, the companies will run behind you for jobs and stuff like that. Then everybody is working to be the topper.
Yes.
Topper will emerge only one, but everybody is working to be the topper.
Combined effort जो है वो
the average automatically goes up. So this is capitalism versus socialism, right? So one is good in distribution, one is good in generation. And neither of them can work in isolation.
Okay.
Right? Capitalism on its own will create a society so unequal that those who don't have the skill or can't work hard, they would be the last one out. They may not even survive. Pure form of capitalism, if you let it be, it's not very different from colonialism. राइट उनका तो यही है कि हम भी काम कर रहे हैं, हम बंदूक लेके आए, हमने बंदूक बनाया तो हम तुमको बंदूक के दम पे बोले कि बनाओ, स्लेव बनो मेरे. दिस इज प्योरेस्ट कैपिटलिज्म, राइट? कि मैं ही आई एम द इनोवेटर, मैंने बंदूक बनाया तो मैं बंदूक चलाऊंगा, तुमने बंदूक नहीं बनाया तो तुम मेरे गुलाम.
वो जो डिफरेंस है वो और बढ़ते जाएगा, जो गैप है वो लंबा हो जाएगा.
कॉलोनियलिज्म इज फाइनल फॉर्म ऑफ कैपिटलिज्म. ओके, राइट? इट कैन बी आर्ग्यूड, राइट? सोशलिज्म ऑन द अदर हैंड, डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दो. अरे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने के लिए पहले कुछ चाहिए तब ना डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करेंगे. If there is nothing to distribute, तो इक्वल सोसाइटी का मतलब क्या है? Everybody will be equally poor, और there will be equality in the names of सब लोग भुखमरी में मर रहा है जी, क्योंकि किसी ने खाना बनाया ही नहीं. तो कोई खा ही नहीं पा रहा, सबको सेम खाना देंगे पर हम खाना ही नहीं बनाएंगे, सब मर जाओगे यार, इक्वल हो जाएगी सोसाइटी, everybody is dead, right? And therefore neither of this is a good prescription to have. What we see and world is maybe moving towards that is we need both of them working together. But which one comes first, right? And in it, it's capitalism that comes first. Distribute करने के लिए पहले generate करोगे तब आप distribute करोगे.
Resource होगा तब ना generate, तब ना pass on करेंगे.
So first you have to generate, and then you have to distribute. And therefore, what I say is capitalistic socialism, right? And what is good about today's government of India is that it is inherently capitalistic socialist. Okay. Capitalistic socialism, a proper example is the current government. In fact, I can argue that Indian society traditionally has been a capitalistic socialism society, right? So the work of government was never to do business, and the business community was entirely separate and left on its own to work, and you just pay their tax. The work of the government was actually socialistic in nature. So benevolent king जो दान देता है, दक्षिणा देता है, लोग प्रजा की रक्षा करता है, प्रजा का टेक केयर करता है. That's ideal of our culture, right? Indian culture. And at the same time business community है बहुत बढ़िया, no vilification of that community as well. बहुत बढ़िया, आप काम कीजिए, आप जनरेट कीजिए, आप नए नए चीज लाइए, आप ट्रेड कीजिए, ये कीजिए, वो कीजिए, समृद्धि लाइए, आप समृद्धि बांट देंगे हम, right? So genetically Indian culture has been a capitalistic socialism kind of a scenario.
Okay.
And the government since 2014, the current government seems to have adopted that well enough, right? Okay. So if you look at the current prime minister, he has got a series of, in fact first he did socialism, he has a series of socialistic programs, and kind of socialistic programs that have never existed in India before. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana has existed, but the kind of delivery that has been done by government is unparalleled. In fact, it can be argued that one of the reasons why the government keeps coming back, so there is pro-incumbency for the government, even in current form, third term getting 250 is still 240 is still a pro-incumbency only, is Modi schemes. Modi schemes are one of the crucial reasons for the pro-incumbency of current government, right? And that is then purely socialistic impact, right? And socialistic impact done really well. तो डिजिटल के थ्रू डीबीडी कर देंगे, डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर कर देंगे, बीच का सारा करप्शन खत्म कर देंगे, राइट? सो दिस इज अ प्रॉपर सोशलिस्टिक गाय. वो सोशलिज्म ऐसे नहीं पैसा देना है, पैसा सही जगह पहुंचे भी, इसका भी एश्योरेंस देना है, राइट? एट द सेम टाइम लुक एट हिम इंटरेक्टिंग विद द इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट. डू यू सी हिम ब्लेमिंग इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट इन एनी फॉर्म, राइट? अब वो इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट ही नहीं रहेंगे तो जनरेट कहाँ से, टैक्स कहाँ से आएगा? बड़ा सबसे बड़ा टैक्सेशन तो वो लोग देते हैं. आवर एनालिसिस आल्सो सेज दैट the top people, so 34% comes from households, 66% comes from essentially the businesses only, right? So his PLI scheme, so he has a host of schemes for generation purposes, encouraging industry, encouraging the entrepreneurial class of the country, startup India se lekar all the way to encouraging various industry with PLI schemes and stuff like that. Also getting outside businessmen to come to India and establish factories in India. जनरेट करो जितना करने का, डिस्ट्रीब्यूट तो हम कर ही रहे हैं, राइट? सो दिस कंबाइंड फैक्टर हैज लेड टू गवर्नमेंट व्हिच हैज फेस्ड कंटिन्यूअसली हैज pro-incumbency towards them, and over a period of time is actually decreasing the inequality.
Okay,
right? अब बात ये है कि वर्ल्ड फैक्टर्स में ये डिक्रीज ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी आएगा नहीं. क्यों नहीं आएगा? क्योंकि वर्ल्ड का इनइक्वालिटी इंडेक्स इज बेस्ड ऑन इनइक्वालिटी ऑफ इनकम. इनकम की इनइक्वालिटी पर डिपेंड करता है. अब इधर मोदी जी तो लोगों को अनाज दे रहे हैं, खाना दे रहे हैं, राइट? तो खाने का दैट ऑफ कोर्स इज डिक्रीजिंग इनइक्वालिटी, बट देयर इनकम इज नॉट इंक्रीजिंग ना. दे आर गेटिंग फूड, दे आर गेटिंग एसेट्स,
बेसिक नेसेसिटी पूरी हो रही है, पर वो जो ग्रोथ है वो नहीं आ पा रहा.
3 लाख का घर मिल गया लोग. डू यू थिंक 3 लाख का दे आर आई डोंट नो 10-20 crores ऑफ होम्स हैव बीन फॉर्म्ड इन इंडिया, राइट? 5 crore प्लस डेफिनेटली. तो उससे इनइक्वालिटी कम नहीं हुई होगी इंडिया में. डू यू थिंक दैट इज द केस? मैसिवली कम हुई होगी. अगर 5 crore
अगर बढ़ गया तो जो बेसिक नेसेसिटी पूरी करने के लिए जो एफर्ट डालनी होती है उसका काम सरकार ने कर दिया. तो अब आपको जो है बेसिक नेसेसिटी पे ध्यान नहीं देना है, सिर्फ अपने आप को आगे ले जाने पे अपने
यू आर फ्री टू डू व्हाट यू वांट.
यस.
अब बेसिक मेरा घर और खाना मेरे को मिल गया, उसके बाद मैं दिन भर सोना चाहता हूँ, सो लो यार, क्या कर सकते हैं. उसके बियॉन्ड तुम नहीं जाओगे, बट इतना तो मिल जाएगा तुमको. सो यू विल नॉट डाई ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी, बट उसके ऊपर इफ यू डोंट फाइट देन यू रिमेन देयर, राइट? But that is the bottom. Bottom is very, and if there's so many 3 lakh, and this is not small, 3 lakhs के houses लोग construct हुए हैं, poor people के substantial construct हुए हैं. Across communities, across religions, people have been benefited out of this Modi scheme. 80 crore people getting अनाज, उससे inequality कम नहीं हुई है क्या? You are saying कि India has seen the largest socialistic distribution in its history in last 10 years, and inequality has increased.
तो आप दो स्टेटमेंट, ऑपोजिट स्टेटमेंट को एक साथ दे रहे हो.
करेक्ट.
ओके,
इट कांट बी पॉसिबल. तुम्हारा मेजर गलत है. तुम इनकम पे ही मेजर कर रहे हो. तुम ये नहीं मेजर कर रहे हो कि ओवरऑल वेल्थ कितना, एसेट कितना जनरेट हो गया है.
जी,
यू नो, देयर इज अ बिग एसेट. हाउस मेरा बन गया, तो लोग तो कमाते खाते आधा चीज तो घर ही बनाने के लिए.
जी,
यू नो, व्हाई आर यू अर्निंग, व्हाई आर यू सेविंग? यू गेट द हाउस. हाउस ही मैंने बना के तुमको दे दिया. सी द काइंड ऑफ फ्रीडम एंड द काइंड ऑफ ये दैट यू आर गोइंग टू गेट. मे बी द करंट जनरेशन रिलैक्स करके सोएगा, और हाउस तो मल्टीपल जनरेशन तक चलेगा ना. नेक्स्ट जनरेशन तो ऐसे में पैदा होगा जिसके पास घर है
ऑलरेडी,
तो वो बैठ के एक्चुअली में पढ़ेगा.
हाँ,
right? उससे प्रेशर नहीं रहेगा कि अब घर नहीं है तो कहाँ जाएं, क्या करें and stuff like that, you know. So the inequality is a feature. It needs to be of a capitalistic system. It needs to be addressed via socialism. The current government is doing extremely well on this count.
Okay.
And I strongly feel, and maybe we should do a study on this sometime, that the inequality of India has substantially come down last 10 years. Though it is not portrayed as such in larger narrative, world indexes and stuff like that.
Okay. Sir, जब